Pro Boxing Fans here with Adam Smith. Adam, we've just concluded from the weigh-in. What did you make of that? A lot of talk about the weights this week. Anthony Joshua being leaner, Alexander Usyk looking heavier. But what did you make from that today?
I thought they both looked in fantastic shape, and the weights are negligible really compared to last time. AJ a little bit heavier, 4 pounds heavier. Look, they're fighting for aggression, aren't they? They're going to go in with physicality, and they'll put everything into that game plan. That's what they've got to do. I had a bit of inside information with Alexander Usyk. I knew he was going to come in about 100 kg. So I was surprised when I was told that, because I thought he was going to come in a little bit heavier. But they've said to me that it's the strength they're working on, not just the weight. So they believe he's stronger this time at this weight. So 15-11 and a half. It's perfect for Usyk. I mean, he's a small heavyweight, but he's a very stacked heavyweight. He has the advantage of having the victory last time. AJ has to do it differently, so he's coming a little bit heavier. But they're both in incredible shape, and I don't think we read too much into the weights. It's all about the tactics on the night and whether Anthony can implement the right things. Well, Alexander Usyk can basically start off where he left off. I think for Usyk it's round 13. I think for AJ it's round 1. And we'll see in those first 2 or 3 rounds how the fight's going to go. I think it's imperative that Joshua has a really good start. I think if Usyk cracks him early and he gets a little bit befuddled again, I think that could be problematic for Joshua. But if he gets a great start and he gets some success and gets some rhythm, could be AJ by knockout. Could be.
I've been talking to a few of the people close to AJ, and they're saying they are looking at possibly targeting Usyk's body because they had a little bit of success last time around. Do you feel like that should be part of the game?
I do. I think a big problem going to the last fight was that he had very, very little southpaw experience. AJ, as a professional, only 1.5 rounds with Charles Martin. Didn't have the best record against southpaws, with Miha Nista stopping him in the amateurs. I think he's been 12 rounds with Usyk now. Okay, he wasn't successful, but he's fought a southpaw for 12 rounds. Alex Krasiev was saying that makes this more level this time because he's done that. He's had a lot of southpaw sparring again. So look, he's going to be more well versed in it, but it's getting to Usyk's body. I do think that's the right tactics. He's got to try and slow Usyk down. He's got to try and land there. Look, it wasn't impregnable in the amateurs, but he won 335 out of 350 fights, and there were times where he was wobbled. So ultimately AJ's got a chance because he hits so hard, and he's got to put combinations together, and he's got to work the body. And I think, look, if he gets on top of Usyk, I think that he can turn the fight his favour. But any clips, any worries, if he walks through them, fine, but if he gets momentarily dazed or hurt, I worry in the first 2 or 3 rounds that he'll just go back psychologically to where he was. I think it's really important that he's ahead after 3 or 4 rounds, and that he's in some sort of a controlled rhythm, and that it's Usyk who has to maybe chase it a bit more. But that's the fascination of it.
What's the response back being like in the UK for this fight? Obviously, you guys are the broadcasters, Sky Sports box office. Do you feel like it's because it's in Saudi, it's not getting as much attraction like it was when it was in Tottenham?
Well, I think, look, it's been a very quick build-up because we got the rights fairly late on. I know Dazn announced the global rights this week as well, so everything's been fairly late. I remember when we did Mayweather and Pacquiao, and we had only a few weeks to push that one. So we've pushed it as hard as we can, obviously, utilising the Sky Arsenal. I think the fight speaks for itself. I think it's a bigger fight than it was last year. Most people thought AJ would be victorious, so this time most people don't. British fight fans will get behind him. The whole Ukraine situation has put the spotlight on Alexander, who's fighting for his people and what he's done and being on the front line. That's an incredible story. So I think the narrative, the questions, the story is much stronger than last time. It's August the 20th, it's the summer, maybe some people are on holiday. Yes, it's not in Britain. There's all of that, but I think in these next sort of few hours, I think it will really ramp up, and I think people will tune into Sky Sports box office. They'll want to know, they'll want to see it. It's a fight that you're not sure which way it will go. So I'm hoping that sort of a late surge will be very, very good for... You don't want to miss this fight. It's a fantastic fight, and I think boxing fans will all watch it, and the casuals will be drawn in. And we've got an Arsenal game just before, so I think it will be very strong on Saturday. But we'll see. We don't know.
How much? When I spoke to Gareth Davies yesterday, and he said that people that he knows close to Dazn are still saying that even if Anthony loses, that the Tyson Fury fight is a fight that they're going to want to make. In your eyes, do you feel like that fight can be made if Anthony loses, or will they just look for a unification with Usyk?
Look, we don't know with Tyson, do we? You know, 1 minute he's retiring, 1 minute he's not. He gets out of bed, he thinks, what do I do today? I think he'll fight again. I think he's just waiting for the money to roll in. And I think he'd prefer to fight Joshua. I think there's no doubt about that. All British fight fans would like that fight to happen. If AJ wins tomorrow, which will be a huge, huge moment for him, I think it's straight into the Tyson Fury fight, and there's no stopping it now, and it will be enormous, and I'm sure they'll have a couple of them. If he loses, I don't think that's definitively the Fury fight off the table. I mean, I'm sure Usyk and Fury will look to unify, but there's many other fights out there for AJ. The Dillian Whites, you know, Deontay Wilder's come back, Joe Joyce is fighting Joe Parker. There's loads out there, you know, or he just, you know, he waits. But I think that, yeah, the Joshua Fury fight is a fight that can be made at any time. But I guess the manner of tomorrow night, if AJ was to get stopped and lose badly, that would obviously dim his light for a while. He'll have to rebuild. I think people wouldn't probably want the Joshua Fury fight then. But if he puts in an incredible effort and just narrowly loses, that's a different story. But obviously if he wins, it's straight in, I think. So I think there's lots of imponderables. I think we need to see what happens tomorrow night, how it unfolds. But I'm sure if Usyk wins, he'll want to fight Fury next for undisputed. That's his aim, that's his dream. He cleaned up at cruiserweight, he wants to clean up at heavyweight, and on the performance at Tottenham, maybe he's very confident that he can do that. Obviously the Tyson Fury obstacle, jigsaw, puzzle is very different. He's a huge man, and he'd start a favourite against either of those, of course. But he said he's retired. So for now, it's all about this fight tomorrow night. But I'm sure Tyson will be watching and waiting to see what happens. He loves making some noise around another event, doesn't he? But Tyson Fury's win, I was ringside for it against Deontay Wilder, the second fight in Vegas. I thought it was one of the greatest wins of any British fighter away from home. I think if Joshua does a number on Usyk tomorrow, you've got to put him right up there with that and becoming a 3-time champion. And then, of course, if he gets all the belts back, and Fury, he's not going to give up that WBC title. He's going to go in with Joshua. If Usyk wins, maybe slightly different, but we'll see.
How much did it mean to yourselves, Sky Sports, to get the rights to this? Because it's, as much as you wouldn't want to admit it, it's a win over your competitor, Dazn, Eddie Hearn, that whole group. How much were you happy that you got the rights?
On the tit for tat that's been going on between Johnny and Eddie, and I'm glad I've been in America on holiday. I've come in late. Look, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Ultimately, Dazn are doing a great job over with Matchroom. Matchroom and I work together. We worked together as a teams for years. I know how good they are. It's great to see them work on a show, on a production together again. And we concentrate on Sky business with Boxer, and we've got Ben Whittaker on, which is fantastic. We're going to have Adam Azim and Caroline and Lauren and Karis and Fraser and all of those in the coming weeks. We've got I think the pick of the young talent for Boxer. We've got great top rank shows coming through. So I don't like looking into the sort of needle and all of that side of it. And ultimately, we got this fight. Dazn took Anthony Joshua, and of course that was upsetting for us. We've worked with him from day dot, but Anthony will always be part of our furniture, and we'll always be behind him on Sky. This stuff about us all wanting Usyk to win and not Joshua is absolutely rubbish. I mean, I love AJ, he's friends with my family, but I love Usyk. He's mercurial, he's brilliant. I love his team, I love both teams. I'm lucky enough to have been around both teams for a long time now. Freddie, KD, all the guys at 258. The team Usyk, Alex and Igis, they're all great people, and they're doing this for the good of everybody. This is about AJ and Usyk. They're two elite athletes. The best man will win. I don't care. Whoever wins, wins. If Joshua wins, it's an incredible story for Britain. If Usyk wins, it's an incredible story for the world. But what I do know is that both can go on to other fights, and they both owe us nothing. I mean, look what they've done already in their careers. AJ, a 2-time heavyweight champion, an ambassador. He's changed boxing in Britain. Let's not diminish that at all. And Eddie's right in what he said about the fact that we all owe something to what AJ's done. Absolutely. And Alexander Usyk is trying to change everything in the world. He's representing Ukraine, his beloved home country, with all the trouble and trauma that's going on there. With Vitaly and Vladimir and Vasily, there's a unit there. And I think we should celebrate it, that these two are fighting in a rematch. It's great for the world to see. And it's fantastic that he's got it free on Ukrainian television as well. That was brilliant, and it's just a great event, and I think we should all celebrate that. Eddie's got a lot of work on the other side of the fence. Frank's doing brilliantly. He's got a lot of work on himself in the coming months, and so do Ben and I at Boxer. And we're in a really good position, and we're really pleased with what's happened in the last year. And our relationship with Top Rank is fantastic too. We've got a great one on September the 10th coming up with Clarissa and Savannah topping the bill, Michaela and Alicia, and obviously Karis and Lauren and Caroline. It's going to be fantastic. It's a pivotal moment for us and women's sport. So yeah, we've all got things to look forward to. They've got Ben and Eubank to look forward to. I can't wait to be there. I want to be there at that. We want to be at all of them. So it's happy days for fighters and fans, and we're in a good place.
Just a final one. Deontay Wilder has announced his return back.
I'm delighted. I just swapped messages with him last night, and he's very pleased that he's back.
Well, what do you think he can add to the division? Obviously, he's been away for a long time, so we've not got to see him, but back to the top 3, 4, 5.
He adds to the division. He adds charisma, personality, punch power. He adds the bronze bomber back. We wanted him back. We've got him back. Great fight. Robert Helenius. Let's see that happen in October. What's going to happen? Maybe the loser of tomorrow fights Wilder. That'd be great, wouldn't it? You'd have Usyk against Wilder. You'd have AJ against Wilder. You'd have Dillion's always wanted Wilder. Daniel Dubois, what a win he had recently. It's great times for the heavyweight division. So I'm delighted that Deontay's back. He can get out of his scuba diving gear and he can get his gloves back on and he can start fighting, which is why we love him most.
Adam Smith, always a pleasure talking to yourself. I do appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you very much.